All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back to talk about something that I think is quite important to understand when summoning for now what I think is the most. It's a very complicated process in which they've put acheron in, especially if you are a free to play, right? And one of the major things that I'm also finding difficult is the fact that, you see, for me, I'm a free to play, right? I have, and I'm not afraid to say it, I have multiple accounts. Okay, I won't say multiple. I have 4 accounts in specific. 4 accounts that are specifically tailored to different, I'd say, playstyles. I didn't tailor them to those playstyles. They just ended up being those types of playstyles because the way I structured the summons and saving ended up creating those accounts in this way. So I'll give you a very perfect example. So this account right here. This account, I created this account when Kafka came out, right? So when Kafka came out, I summoned for her, created this whole new account, got her Litecoin as well. Nothing major, right? And obviously you can see 10, 10, 10 relics. Obviously I'm trying my best here to just give her like a good amount set. So she's all right. She's moderately all right. I saved up on this account because I did not summon for anyone else, probably apart from Topaz, who I unfortunately got. Then thereafter, I've not summoned for any other. This was a standard banner pool. I'm not summoned for any other, obviously 5-star, right? I got enough, I saved enough to get Black Swan on this account and her Litecoin, which is very good. So I'd count this account as a Nihility account because majority of the people I've built up on this account are Nihility characters. So in this case, Kafka, Black Swan, Luca, and then now I'm obviously now building up my Guanaifen and my Sampo. And the reason why I feel this account is a Nihility account is because someone like Luca, who's a Nihility support, is obviously E6, my Guanaifen E2, my Sampo E4, and then I think I have there's someone left, right? No, that's pretty much it, right? Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So another question begs down to like acheron and her kit. Now, there's so much that I feel has to be talked about, and from the leaks, I do not think that Kafka and Black Swan, right? Let me give you the perfect example of what I'm talking about. I do not think that Kafka and Black Swan, inclusive of acheron, if you do not have a good support sustainer, which is either a good healer and a good shielder, will do you for your account as a free to play. Those are my thoughts. Because if right now people would be like, oh wait, you're right, you have Kafka, you have Black Swan, you can definitely get her. And I won't lie, I do have the pulls that are ready. I think I have 121 pulls, obviously going into 676 pulls. And it's a guaranteed as well. It's not a 50-50 on the next 80 pity. It's a guaranteed character. But my problem is coming from the fact that I have been seeing leaks, and these leaks are not giving me confidence, and I'll tell you why. Acheron seems to be the way they've structured Acheron. I wish that they just made her a destruction character at least, because making her a Nihility character, she's completely different from Kafka, and she's completely different from Black Swan. And I'll tell you why. Kafka is more of a DOT explosion person, right? Black Swan is a DPS sort of debuffer because her skill basically gives what do you call it? Her skill gives a defense down, right? 100% base chance of reducing the defense of the target and adjacent targets by 20% or 20.8%, lasting for 3 turns. You can get that from Pela. Well, about 16% plus, obviously, if you use a Litecoin, you get 20%. And if you have someone like, but let me explain. So on this account, I don't think I'd get her. And I'll tell you why. Because, you see, Kafka is more of a DOT explosion character, right? She's more of a DOT explosion character. No doubt about that. But then you have Black Swan, whose only benefit that that would give acheron would be, you know, that defense down that she gives on the skill. And by the looks of it, acheron, I mean, the only person who would actually really benefit acheron in this account is probably Luca, because of his E6, and Sampo. But then I don't have a good sustain, because irrespective of building my Natasha or even trying to build now my links, I need a good sustain. Because think about it, her kit is built in a way that for you to have the most damage output, you have to have two Nihility characters. Two Nihility characters to bring out about, like, I won't say the numbers because I don't want to get copyrighted, but you need at least two Nihility characters. Now everybody would be like, oh yeah, Kafka, yeah, Black Swan. No, because if you put Kafka, Black Swan, and then acheron here, right? And then I don't have a good sustain, I don't have a good healer, I'm dead. All my skill points are gone, because she does need a skill point. It's not like she's not using a skill point. She does need a skill point. You need her for her defense down as skill. Obviously, her follow-up attack can trigger acheron's talent, the ultimate talent thing. But if you think about it realistically, what does she really add? What do these two really add to acheron's kit, apart from being just really strong DPS, all three of them? Nothing. Those are my thoughts. Now, let me transfer you to now one of my accounts that I'd say I would be ready to summon for her. All right? So I'm just going to log out, real quick, and then I'll cut out to the next account. Okay, so now we're back into this account, right? And I will show you, I have 330 pulls on this account. Now, I've not whaled on this account. Don't think I've whaled on this account. I've not. The last time I summoned on this account was actually in October. So let me just show you that. Yeah, so the last time I summoned on this account was actually, no. So this was just for the Guinafin and Tingyong. And look at this. So 2023, and then this was just single pulls, just to get myself done. So the last time I summoned was October, and then I did a one. It wasn't even a 10 pull, to be honest. It was just like me doing singles. Yeah, so this is the last time I summoned, which is October. I've been saving up since then, and then recently on the 10th of this month is when I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just did 6 pulls, which is about like single pulls, just for the sake of it, so I could get a Tingyun copy and a Guinafin copy, because I needed to complete my Tingyun and get her to E6, which obviously is really good. But now let me show you the difference between my Nihility account, what I would call my Nihility account, and this account. I would not mind getting her on this account, because I have this account is really good, because I have her light cone at E2, and then I have her eidolons at E1, which is really good. I've got Silver Wolf, obviously, within this light cone, but let me show you what I'm talking about in terms of why I think this account would be beneficial with acheron instead, right? I'm actually the plan for this account is to get Sparkle, but I want to show you why I think acheron would be better off in this account, or specifically an account with this too. If you have Pela and you have Silver Wolf, you can put acheron. They are two Nihility characters, right? And both of them give kits that basically defense down a lot of the enemy. So a good example is if you go here, I mean, her basic attack, if you go to a talent, Silver Wolf can create 3 types of bugs. This is a debuff, this is a debuff, this is a debuff. Her ultimate 100% chance to decrease the enemy's target defense by 45% for 3 turns. Black Swan does it for only 20%. Silver Wolf does it for 45%. Her skill also gives all type resistance of the enemy by 10%. Obviously, and then you have this debuffs here, all type by an additional 3%. if you can get acheron in an account with Silver Wolf and or Pela. Now let's go to, let's say, Pela. So now let's say you've launched Silver Wolf's ult, right? And then I would say you want to mix in, basically, what I'd say is you want to do this. Let me show you. You want to switch this. This is how you want to build an acheron account with both Silver Wolf and Pela. So you want to give Silver Wolf this, which is really good. And then you want, whenever attacks and defense reduced enemies regenerate 8 energy, that's no problem. You want to give Pela this, because that would allow her basic to basically give a defense reduction of 15%. So you have 40% plus an additional about 3 to 6 to 7 to 8% all resistance debuff and defense down, and then you have Pela, who does a defense decrease of about 15%, inclusive of her ultimate, which, when exposed, enemy's defense is reduced by 40%. This too basically make an enemy, or give an enemy, a debuff of close to 80%. 80%, I want you to look at that properly. 80%. This is 45. This is 40. Inclusive of like now small things such as, this. You would benefit having acheron on an account with both Pela and Silver Wolf. And the leaks have showed it. And a lot of people are like, no, you know what, you need an account with Kafka and Black. I don't think you need an account. I am personally in that situation where I have 2 accounts, both of them free to play. One of them has Pela and Silver Wolf. One of them has Black Swan and Kafka. And I kid you not, my thoughts are all on going for this account that specifically has Silver Wolf and Pela, due to the fact that Acheron's kit scales damage off the fact that an enemy has debuffs. I don't know if it's the number of debuffs or just debuffs in general. And I don't know if DOT counts as a debuff. All I can tell you is Black Swan, right, gives you a 20% defense down reduction. That's it. And then obviously your Arcana stacks, but then you have Kafka, who's like who gives DOT lightning, but is also does the whole dot damage. Acheron does not give dot damage, right? Now you come to this account, you have Silver Wolf and you have Pela. I want to stress this as much as possible. I think she would be more beneficial in an account that has Silver Wolf and Pela, because if these two combined give the enemy about close to 80%. I mean, these are the numbers. I mean, look at it. You have, again, because my effect hit rate is about like 131, right? On my Silver Wolf, right? And she's free to play, by the way. This is a free to play light cone. Where is it? Abilities. Her ultimate, 45%, right? Her skill gives specific, this also reduces the enemy's damage resistance to that weakness type by 20%. You would, Silver Wolf, Pela. The leaks have showed teams of Silver Wolf and Pela, and every single time the leaks with Silver Wolf and Pela, as opposed to Kafka and Black Swan, deal way more damage than the accounts or the leaks that show Kafka and Black Swan in the same team as Acheron. If you get her A2 as a whale, it doesn't. But you see, we're not talking here as from a whale perspective. We're talking from the fact that these two are way better for Acheron. And the fact that Acheron needs 2 Nihility characters to bring out a better percentage of her damage, these two are better because of the defense down. That's pretty much it. Now, if you have, what I'll say is, because I do have another account, but I don't want to log into that one right now. Where was it? Databank characters. If you have now another question that I was asking myself, because originally I was going to summon on the account that has Ruan Mei, right? I was going to summon on the account that has Ruan Mei, but I have second thoughts. I'll tell you where I have second thoughts. I know her skill. Where is it? Is it this one? I know her skill. When Ruan Mei has overturned, all allies deal 16% damage, or whatever amount of. You know what? Let's just skip there. Let's skip to the account so I can actually show you a better example of what I'm talking about. So we're back here, and now for anyone who thinks this is a whale account, no, again, this is just an account I created specifically for Ruan Mei. As you can see, the only people I have is Hua Hua, I have Ruan Mei, I have Gunaifen, Dr. Ratio, and Clara. Those are the only people I built up on this account, like, thoroughly. Okay, so I was thinking, because originally I was actually, you know, before everything, before the leaks, before when acheron was a simple leak that happened, and we knew that she was going to come, but we didn't know that she was going to become. We didn't know when she was going to be coming. My initial thought was to summon her on this account, and I actually did. I've saved up. I've 202 pulls on this account, very ready. Last character that I've gotten, as you can see, and you know what? Let me even show you. This is It's a 50-50 that I might get the character, but let me show you. See, I'm not summoned since then. Since the 27th of December, I'm not summoned, and I've just been farming, got the Ruan Mei, moved on, right? And I got 202 pulls from that. Well, until today, right? Because this was a new account, so obviously there was a lot still at Jade, and I'm not even finished or even managed to even start doing the what do you call it? Forgotten Hall. I'm still, you know, here. That's where I am, imagine. Because I don't have like a whole 2 teams. But originally this is where I was gonna summon for her. And my thoughts initially when I created this account, after knowing that she would be coming out as a future character, is that I was originally going to do Hua Hua, Ruan Mei, and then Gunaifen, since I got her when I started this account, and then put acheron. Now, this would work 100%, but this would only work if I have an E2 acheron. Everybody has seen what E2 acheron is. So unless the devs decide, you know, let's make it a bit more free to play, friendly, let's create it that she only needs 1 nihility to obviously deal a lot of damage. No, they know what they're doing. They're not going to change it, right? So originally this is what I was going to do. I was going to do Hua Hua, Ruan Mei, Gunaifen, and then obviously acheron. But that's not going to happen, because I'm not going to spend any money on the game. And unfortunately, you want to have that, you really want to have that amount of, damage that she gets from having 2, because Ruan Mei is a really good character, 100% without a doubt. Because obviously her talent, speed, break damage equal to 25, increased break effects, ultimate all type resistance pen by 25%. I mean, this is really good, because obviously with acheron, resistance pen is really good, but because on top of the already existing resistance penetration that she does during her ultimate, obviously we haven't gotten the information yet. These are all speculations, by the way. You know, all allies damage by 32%, weakness break efficiency by 50%. It's just, there's you know, maximum damage output by 36%. This would work, but then you see the problem becomes like it only works when you have an E2 acheron, and that's the worst thing about it. Like this. A buffer, how many units, would only work with acheron, and then obviously that 1 nihility character. I would prefer not Kafka and Black Swan, but rather a 4-star nihility, because most of the 4-star nihilities give off passives that help the 5-star nihility characters, rather than the 5-star nihility characters giving out passives that help themselves or another 5-star nihility. So what I would suggest is, obviously, if you're a whale, you're a whale. Doesn't matter. You can put her on a team with Ruan Mei, Bronya. Doesn't matter, because if you get her E2, you're pretty much sorted. But if you are free to play, my final conclusion is that you would rather put her on an account with Silver Wolf and Pela. Yeah, that's it for the video. Thank you.